The Acolyte is the worst piece of Star Wars media ever created on God's green earth. That's what a lot of people online are saying anyways. And to be honest with you, I kind of agree with them. Not for the same reasons that they're probably articulating. Here's why.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
What is that?
The Acolyte. A former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but discovers the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. First, let me get something out of the way for this review. I really don't want to go over the usual talking points of the show. You know, I think more specifically, a lot of people are talking about like the wokeness of the series and how it was invested Star Wars, and this is why the show sucks. And you know, while I may agree or sympathize with certain elements of that, it's something that's been done to death, I think, online. It's a talking point that has run its course, and I don't think there's anything I can bring to the table. And frankly, I don't think that's even the real reason why the show is bad, and not even the most interesting one, which is the one I want to get into. Now, with that aside, though, I do want to get into what I actually did like about the show. Honestly, The Acolyte, ironically, visually, you know, in terms of its cinematic grammar, it's the closest to Lucas's Star Wars since ever. You know, I do like The Mandalorian, but it definitely feels more like Dave Filoni's work. You also got Rogue One and Andor, and those two are amazing, but they feel nothing at all like Star Wars, and I mean that in a good way. It was a very steep departure, but felt fresh. The Acolyte, however, I think through its cinematography, its action choreography, music, alien designs, the characters themselves even, all of it really does feel like Lucas wrote and directed this himself, or maybe even a younger, ambitious version of Lucas made this series. It really fits into the original saga like a glove on that level. So kind of me surprised, like when the first two episodes, I was actually enjoying this series. To me, this was a really cool, fun revenge adventure that seemed to be shaping up to be a tale about reconciliation and regret. You know, I didn't care about the casting. I certainly didn't care about the pedantic stuff, like a fire in space, which, come on, let's be serious, people. This is the same franchise where a space station blows up into a big fireball. But when I watched the third episode, that's when it clicked. And I can do a whole video on the third episode. I don't want to. I don't like to spend my energy in things that I don't like, but you know, but to sum it up, that third episode, there's one line that sticks out, and I think explains the whole reason why I don't like this series. It's this witch lady, which I forgot her name, but they call themselves witches, so I'm just gonna call her the witch lady. But she's talking to the young protagonists, Osha and May, in a flashback, and says that there is no good or evil, just power. You know, those who can use it and those who can't. The Force is not meant to be used with restraint. You know, it's for them to use in their own truth of some sort. And yeah, that's when it hit me that like, okay, this show, like I say in the title of this video, is the moral antithesis to Lucas's Star Wars. And from that point on, the show is totally recontextualized, and I cannot enjoy it. Star Wars is about a lot of things. When I'm talking about, you know, specifically Lucas's prequel and original trilogy, they're about a lot of things. But when you really break it down to its core, it's about an objective good versus evil. And the Jedi want to make themselves in harmony with that good and the energy that surrounds that good. And the dark side users, they want to rape it for their own gratification, essentially, to use harsh terminology. That is the moral axiom of Star Wars. And the Acolyte wants to upend that basic axiom of Star Wars. Now that is something I think the sequel trilogy has definitely played with, but the Acolyte, I think, explicitly wants to upend that. And it's a subversive thing that I just don't care for anymore. I just want to see it go away. When I say subversive, I don't mean that in the buzzword sense of that phrase, the way a lot of Star Wars fans use it. You know, I don't mind if something's unexpected or experimental. As a matter of fact, I want more of that. I think Andor and Rogue One delivered on that. But when I say subversive, I think when people use that word, I think what they really mean is this ideologically, creatively bankrupt idea that good things just can't exist. Good things or good characters or concepts, archetypes within our stories and myths and history or within our own lives, it can't be true, and that in order to make things better, we need to bring these old things down, deface them, and something new and superior can rise on top of that. But all the time, it turns out to be inferior. It turns out to be crap. Because in this story, you have the Jedi who are painted as oppressive and overly religious, and then the dark side users, they're just well-meaning Force users who just want to use the Force for their own emotional truths and end goals, man. It's a very lame, hippie, new age take on the Force and on morality in general. Another scene I think that really nails this on the head. It's a very viral clip that's going on right now, so slight spoiler alert, but in the season finale, the main character, Osha, who's been a good person this whole time and is trying to follow the Jedi and try to reconcile with them, she force chokes her old master, a father figure, kind of, if you would, and kills him out of an emotional outbreak. And a lot of people are comparing her performance to Hayden Christensen for choking Padme in episode 3, and they're saying, man, look how crappy she is, and this is why the show sucks. Look at all the emotion Hayden's in. It's not even close. This is why Disney Star Wars sucks. And I agree with them that Disney Star Wars sucks, but they are wrong about this clip. And they misunderstand it completely, and let me explain. You see, Hayden Christensen and Amanda Stenberg, their performances are trying to communicate totally different mission statements from their own respective directors. Hayden Christensen, in his performance in Revenge of the Sith, when he's choking Padme, he is trying to communicate the theme and idea that people are good but complicated, and that emotions of passion and with good intentions or seemingly good intentions, we can pave the road to hell and destroy ourselves along the way with our own evil deeds. That was what George Lucas was trying to communicate to us with Star Wars episodes 1 through 6. The Acolyte, however, when Amanda Stenberg is choking her old master, and she's not like that. She's very emotionless and cold and just staring at him. It's not because she's a bad actress. It's because she's trying to communicate power and glory to herself, to her character. And that's kind of what the mission statement of this series is. It's power and glory. There is no good and evil. Power only exists. Those who can use it and those who can't. And she is going to use the power the Jedi have been totally incompetent with, and she's going to use it for her own emotional truth, and that's a good thing. And her performance nails that theme totally. So yeah, good performance in that scene, actually, on the contrary. But it totally emphasizes that this is the moral antithesis to the original Star Wars. And I can go on about other things in this series that I didn't like, the fate of certain characters and how certain plot twists were revealed. I didn't like how this series was still using nostalgia bait at the end. I'm just done with that. Just do something new. But for me, I think I can only focus on this because it was a very corrupted foundation this series was building on. And if you are a Star Wars fan like I am, then I would not recommend this series at all. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you've seen The Acolyte and if you agree with my takes or not. Tell me what your favorite Disney Plus Star Wars series is that you've seen so far. If you have one, hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.